Oh, oh my gosh, that feels so good. I might have to stand up and do a little bit of it as well, a little bit more. By the way, today's Coffee with Ken is brought to you by the 64 Wine Club. It's actually a very cool restaurant, wine experience, if you will, here in downtown Naperville on the Water Street. And it's a place where you can go if you like sampling a bunch of different wines. They sell wine by like the volume, by the splash, where you go in and you pull on a tap and a little bit of wine falls into your glass. And, you know, you might pay $2 for a taste or a little bit of some wine that you've always wanted to try, but you never wanted to buy a bottle of. And they sell, maybe 64 different types of wine. Maybe that's why it's named 64 Wine Club. I do not know. But either way, I'm sitting at their chairs that they have out on their patio this morning, and thought I'd give them a little plug. For anyone in the Naperville area, I used to drink a lot, and I don't drink anymore, but I used to enjoy coming here with my wife and trying some different wines and mixing it up a little bit. Because I'm usually a guy that if he finds what he likes, he sticks to it. If I go to Italian, I always get meat lasagna. Sometimes I need a little push to try something else. And when you come to a place where you can sample a bunch of different wines, it gives you a little bit of incentive or reason to try something else. I say that doing a little stretching, feeling my hips pop a little bit. Oh, and it feels so good. I should get a little more serious about it. I just do this for like 30 seconds when I'm saying good morning to you guys every morning. But I bet you, I was talking to a buddy last night, and it's a guy that works out a lot. I went and had dinner at his house, and we both belong to an awesome health club here in Naperville called Lifetime Fitness. And it's a chain, and it's not a chain, but there's several of them around the country. It's a big company. And they just have an awesome gym. And I used to go there almost every day and take some yoga classes, and I kind of miss it. I think I might look into it again. Hey, thank you so much for following this host. Cece, thank you for sharing the live. John says he thinks walking is just fine, and I kind of agree. But stretching feels good. And a little strength training. I think I'm 54 years old. I think, the next 30 years of my life are going to go quickly, and I'd like to stay as fit as I can. But not going crazy. I don't plan to be... I used to run cross country and track, and I actually ran for 2 years. I walked onto the University of Illinois team. I don't have any illusions of greatness going forward or getting into the best shape of my life, but I would like to stay in touch with some level of fitness. But anyway, thank you. Good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. Hold on one moment. It is Tuesday morning. It is June 20th. It's amazing how fast this year's flying by. A couple weeks ago, actually probably about 6 weeks ago, it was Cinco de Mayo. And I kept track of the date because for some reason I remembered that Cinco de Mayo fell on a Friday. And yesterday was Juneteenth. And I just will remember it fell on a Monday. And apparently I'm going to keep track of the dates of what day it is by adding 7 if it's a Monday, adding 8 if it's a Tuesday. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But doing math to remember what day it is. And then I'll probably reset my time frame on July 4th and then again on Labor Day and then what have you. But anyway, good morning. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is a show that I've been doing for about 4 years. It is a show almost to the day. I think my very first one was either like June 24th, 2019. And it was over on a different platform, and it was a different length, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And I'm not totally sure if it was live, but I remember putting the camera down. Good morning, Scott. And putting the camera down and just kind of dumping my heart, going, crap, I'm not feeling well, I'm sad, I'm blue, I live in this apartment, I'm unhappy, and blah, 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 blah. And I go, what the hell? Let's see if anyone wants to watch my stuff. And I posted it on a different social media platform, and people watched it, and people started connecting with me and identifying and reaching out and sharing their little stories and their little experiences. Hello. And the audience grows. And here I am about 4 years later, and I'm sitting in downtown Naperville now. And it's going to continue to change. I'm going to continue to play with the recipe that is Coffee with Ken. Yesterday afternoon, good morning, is that Raz? Going to continue to play with the recipe that is Coffee with Ken. Yesterday I was sitting along the Riverwalk after work. I was there to do some meditation. It was such a peaceful, calm, beautiful moment. I decided to hop on and go live for, 5 or 10 minutes and just kind of talk and share some things. And I didn't have any coffee. I did not have any coffee. And no, I do not drink Irish coffee. I have drank Irish coffee. I think, what is Irish coffee? Whiskey and coffee? Somebody asked, what's my favorite restaurant to eat in Naperville? Lou Malnati's is yours. What's my favorite restaurant? I mean, it kind of depends. Right now, it's in the morning, so I'm thinking lunch. And if I was going to go anywhere for lunch right now, it would be Jackson Avenue Pub. And I'd get a big burger there. They have awesome hamburgers. They have a huge variety of them. In most places, a hamburger is kind of a hamburger. But each hamburger is an experience. And so I probably wouldn't say Jackson Avenue Pub's my favorite restaurant in Naperville. But right now, I'm thinking that's where I would go. Because, I don't know, I kind of got a hankering for a delicious hamburger. And anyway, for those that have been watching a while, this isn't just a show about me talking and sharing experiences and sharing the beauty that is around us in life. The beauty that is around me right now, I like to give a spin. Every morning I grab my coffee at Starbucks, and I saw a buddy in there, and I'm going, hey, where should I do my show today? And he watches my videos, and I don't know, I just kind of came down to this side of the DuPage River, which is just across the river from where I do it most often. And again, a new hotel, not new, but 5 or 6 years old, called Hotel Indigo, maybe even older than that. Bunch of nice restaurants, just real pretty building. And again, I'm on a beer garden area, just real pretty place right here along the river, just kind of overlooking or looking back on downtown Naperville. But anyway, for those that have been watching a while, it's not just a show about me sharing my experiences. Good morning, Kayla. Somebody asked if I have a fishing pole and hit the river. I have caught nice smallmouth bass right in that river, and I do like to fish. I love to fish, or I used to love to fish. I don't fish very often. But there's great smallmouth fishing in there. The water's kind of low. It's only, I don't know, maybe 3 feet deep at the deepest. But if we got a big rain, the smallmouths would come out of their holes and go hunting. So there is good fish in there. But anyway, for those that have been watching a while, it's not just a show about me talking about fishing or talking about Naperville. It's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I have a nice hot cup of coffee. At least I hope it's hot. I hope I haven't talked so long on this Tuesday morning that my coffee has cooled. But I think I have a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me, and I'm so excited to take my first sip at this very late hour for me. Most of my lives start around 6 o'clock. Today I do not have to go to work. I have the day off, so I slept in a bit. Felt nice. Thank you, Lord, for the extra sleep. But anyway, I got a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me, and I'm excited to take my first sip. And I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh. Seriously, somebody just wrote that first sip feeling before I took that sip. Maybe that's what I could change my name to. Maybe I'll keep it with Coffee with Ken, because I have a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and a whole bunch of mugs floating around town that say Coffee with Ken on them. And but that first sip feeling, it's true. When the coffee passes your lips, hits your tongue, the warmth kind of explodes and it slides down your throat. You're going, ah. Oh. And it feels so good. Coffee is the blood of champions. I think coffee is a huge blessing. Occasionally I'll come across people that say they're trying to cut back. And I think sometimes in life we, I don't know. There's habits, there's bad habits, there's good habits, and then there's coffee. And I think coffee is a blessing. I think coffee is a gift from God, if you will. I've never heard any horrific medical evils of it. It doesn't overly change who you are. It's the slightest, and people are gonna yell, oh, it's a drug, it's the most addictive drug, and blah, 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 blah. Because I talk about giving up drinking and giving up pot smoking and what have you. But I still drink coffee, and I have no desire to give it up. It just feels good. It doesn't affect my sleep. It was funny. I went over to my buddies, like I said, for dinner last night, and we were sitting out on the patio, and I had 2 cups of coffee while we were there. And I went home at, 9 o'clock or something like that. And he goes, is this not going to affect the way you sleep? And I go, oh, not at all. Not at all. And it just doesn't. Good morning, Cindy. Thank you for joining. I'm kind of in a baking sun area. I'm wondering how long I'm going to sit here. What if I moved? I'm almost finding this slightly unpleasant. What if I moved? Would you be upset? Would you be upset? Is this such a spectacular view? Again, this Coffee with Ken was brought to you by the 64 Wine Club in downtown Naperville. I wonder how I could get sponsorships or endorsements. I'd probably need a bigger audience for sure. But it seems somebody that watches this video out there lay out on the table and get a tan. Well, it's only 7 in the morning. I appreciate the thought and the idea. But how would I drink my coffee horizontally? I might go over there. Let's check it out. Let's see how it feels over here. Let's see how it feels over here. Oh, that's kind of nice. Let's do that. Oh, it's funny, again, I've been doing this show for years, and I've been doing this show for, oh, this is nice. The sun was really beating in my face. I couldn't see any comments, or barely could. I was squinting, and my beautiful blue eyes couldn't be seen. But anyway, I've been doing the show for a long time, and although it's never been fancy, and I've never had a nice camera, and the backdrop has never been perfect, I used to worry a lot about the lighting, and I still worry about the lighting. Obviously, I just moved, so I worry a little bit about the lighting. But I'm okay with it being not okay or not perfect, and trying something different just to get a little more comfortable. And if it sucked, I'd go back. And I think that can be kind of a lesson in life, that it's okay to try things and test things and learn from your experiences, and kind of like there is no failure. Everything you do is a learning opportunity. And if you look at life that way, you're going to feel, I don't know, life's going to go a lot easier. And I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I talk a lot about gratitude lately. And I think I've gone through a bunch over the last year and a half, 2 years. I got divorced. I left a career in real estate that I've been doing for 17 years. I started an entry-level job at a super target about 4 or 5 months ago. And, but anyway, I've had a lot of, I'd like to say I had a lot of highs and lows. And I'll say that I've had a lot of highs and lows, but it's only because I've managed to recognize the highs and feel good about the highs and feel happiness and joy and gratitude even in the stuff that isn't always so pleasant, at least initially. Usually we'll take a negative look on things. And I was talking to my buddy yesterday. I said, hey, what are you doing tonight? And he said, come on over for dinner. I was talking to him. And I go, gosh, I just spent $1,100 on my car for there was, I don't know, needed fixed. It doesn't really matter what, but it needed some work done. And I said, I spent $1,100. He's going, that sucks. And we were on the phone setting plans. And later on, when I got over there, I said, you know what? Rather than looking at the $1,100 I had to spend on the car, and believe me, I need that $1,100. That money's important to me. But rather than have it in my soul that it sucks that I spent $1,100 on my car, say, thank you, God, that I had $1,100 to spend on my car. And I seriously just got the chills just saying that, because it changes your feelings of what you're going through so much if you can look at life that way. And I'm not preaching. Somebody said this. I'm not preaching, and I'm sharing my experience with the camera and you guys, the audience right now. But I'm also talking to myself. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers at all, but I've gone through enough stuff that I like to remind myself. And by doing this show, it kind of reminds me. I tell you what, I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I've said it before. I was seeing a therapist about 7 months ago, and I used to deal with my stuff. Go get ready, Kayla. Thank you for joining. I don't know to become a life coach. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. I need to figure out something soon. Walking around Super Target's physically hard on me, and standing all day, it's physically hard, and my feet get numb, and I'm having like physical issues with it. So I need to figure out something, but I don't think it's going to be becoming a life coach necessarily. Yeah, I was kind of summarizing life with my buddy last night, and I think a lot of times, like, because I need to or want to change a couple things, but I don't think I need to fix my life that is my life, because when what I'm doing, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I believe that with all my heart. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be. And although I'm looking for a new work or a new career after leaving real estate for 17 years, and I realize Super Target's not the answer, but where I'm at is okay. And where I'm at is just where I'm at. And where you're at is just where you're at. And we don't have to know exactly what the destination is going to be for us, because none of us know. Because life throws us curves, because I could be walking back to Starbucks and get hit by a bus. And then all my planning for what I'm going to do when I grow up would go out the wayside. And or on the other hand, on a more positive hand, I could meet a guy over at Starbucks that says, hey, I like you. I want you working for my company doing this, and I need you to move to Wyoming and become a park ranger. And yeah, and my life would go off in that direction. And sometimes that sounds kind of fun. Sometimes that sounds kind of fun. I like the mountains. I like the West. I think I'd like a quieter, simpler life. I like where I am. I love Naperville. I kicked around the idea of moving, but I got four beautiful kids that'd be hard to move away from. And I was talking to a friend yesterday afternoon and kind of wanted to reflect and went out to a pretty little park area after work and was sitting there and watching people walk by and sitting on a bench and thinking, wow, this is a beautiful town. I'm fortunate to live here. Seattle. I don't want to move out to Seattle. I think it rains a little too much in Seattle. It was interesting. Again, I say it's interesting a lot. And again, I'm not sure it is interesting, but it's interesting to me. It's a thought. And I think thoughts are kind of interesting. As I was walking over here, I realized, boy, it hasn't rained. Where am I going to sit when it rains? I thought about me doing this show with an umbrella and the drops hitting. It might be good TV. I might get a big audience. It might be kind of funny. People say I could be a weatherman. I don't know if a weatherman would be, reading the news would be fulfilling enough. But I definitely could see me as one of those guys wearing a raincoat in the midst of a hurricane going, hey, it's getting pretty windy out here. Wish me luck, say your prayers, and then get blown away. I think people would like that. I think I'd be real popular in a dunk tank. I think people would enjoy dunking me in one of those dunk tanks. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. I think it's a compliment. My lead pastor, my church has something going. They call it Summer Bash or something on Sunday, and they're bringing in a dunk tank. And one of the other pastors said said his first thought was dunking his, the lead pastor. And that's the vision I have on my head. And I think that's a compliment when somebody wants to dunk you in a dunk tank. Because there's a certain kind of love, teasy, brotherly relationship that I don't know. I think people would like to dunk me in a dunk tank. This guy's greater than Joe Rogan. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Okay, I'll touch on that. People often say, "Oh, you should have guests and do a podcast." I don't know. Joe Rogan's got a guest. Joe Rogan has guests. Maybe I could do guests. There's a lot of guys that do interviews. How many guys just sit and talk to the camera while drinking coffee? I don't know if I'm right. And I also don't really fully know what the benefit of a podcast is. It's a different way to be found, I guess. But my audience continues to grow every day on this format. And my followers are growing. And I almost think if I went to a podcast tomorrow, I'd have to say, hey, guys, go over here and listen to me over here. Stop watching me where I'm at. Go follow me on this podcast. And maybe, I mean, I've had a lot of people say it, so maybe it makes sense, and maybe I don't what I'm talking about. That's definitely, I was going to say a possibility, maybe even a probability, and possibly even a certainty. And then it will be a play. There's a podcast. Do your normal show and record it. Well, I do my normal show, and I do record it. And I currently post these videos over on YouTube every day. And I also watch them up and splice them up and create little shorter nuggets. The best way to grow cross-marketing. Yeah, no, you're probably right, Tyler Black. You're probably right. I'm growing, and it's hard to walk away from something like this because, believe me, every morning I don't necessarily, first thing when I wake up and I'm feeling the sleep out of my eyes, my first thought is, and boy, I'm excited to start talking on camera. But I mean, again, I'm just waking up, and as I go through my morning and brush my teeth and what have you, I get a little energy, and by the time I get my coffee and find a spot to sit, I'm still sometimes thinking, what the heck am I going to talk about? And I flip on TikTok, and there's a button that says go live. And I go, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? Do I want to do this? And I go, what the heck? The way to do it is push that button. And all of a sudden you are going live. And all of us, the words come out, and 20 minutes or half an hour or 40 minutes pass. And I don't know, you got a show. Insta, Twitch, and YouTube all at once. If I had multiple devices, it's not a bad idea. Good morning. Not even sure where that woman came from. Not even sure where that woman came from. I didn't think anything was open over here that somebody could come through. Maybe it connects to the Riverwalk over there. Maybe I could do a stroll and finish it up walking across the bridge. It's kind of hard to carry. Did she have nice leggings? I didn't notice. She had a nice smile. She'll be, go get that woman and she'll be my first guest. Hey, come back. Guys on my camera are telling me I need guests. What's your name? My name's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you? I'm good. You live in Naperville, Lisa? Yes, I do. How long you lived here? I grew up here. See, I don't even need a guest. I can play both characters at the same time. It's funny. I walk around with my son, Augie. I got a little beautiful nugget of love, Augie, who's just over 2 years old, and he's my little angel. And he doesn't talk yet. I mean, he says a couple little words, and he'll do a little sign language, and he's the sweetest little nugget. And but I'll carry both sides of our conversation. Oh, yeah, I'll answer myself. But it's in Augie voice, so it's okay. And I was speaking for Lisa a minute ago, so it's okay. I'm not really having a conversation with myself. I might sometimes, though. So let's have a little more coffee. Oh, it's still so good. Well, Naperville's waking up. The world is waking up. It feels funny to have a Tuesday off. I mean, I'm used to it. I've been at Super Target for 4.5 months, and I never work on Tuesday, but it feels a little funny to have the day off. And again, as a divorced guy, I think a lot of my thoughts are to fill my time when I'm not with my kids or my wife, or when I'm not drinking because I don't drink anymore, or what have you. And having a day with very little to nothing on my schedule seems in some ways fun, in some ways super cool, but in some ways kind of scary. But again, that's probably just the negative voice inside my head saying, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to have nothing to do today. Everyone's going to be working and you're going to be with nothing to do. And I can flip that around easily, and I can look at it, see the opportunities that are there with the time that's free, and I could go to the library, and I could put together a resume, or I could do a couple cool videos, or I can look into career paths, or I can look into various things, and there's opportunities that are all around us, and I think you just got to open your eyes to them. I think it's so easy, again, to focus on the bad stuff or the negatives, or to look at the problems, or to worry about, I don't know, a bill to pay or a schedule to keep or what have you, so much so that you don't enjoy the now, and that you don't enjoy silly little things like Father's Day. For a little bit last week, I was worried a little bit if my daughters were going to make it to church on time, and it was stressing me out, and I was getting a little anxious. And you know, that energy would have been better spent with excitement or anticipation or joy or peace or happiness that I was going to get to see my daughters. And that's just one example. And there's a million other examples. So anyway, it's Tuesday morning. It's kind of chilly, actually. I'm just wearing a T-shirt. I usually have my sweatshirt on or a coat, but I didn't think with the sun out it was going to be needing that. But now that I'm in the shade, It's just a hint chilly. It's just a hint chilly. I live in Naperville, Illinois. Is it going to be 90 today? Huh. I'm wearing my jeans. I probably don't need jeans then. It's going to be 90 today, huh? I like weather. One weather I don't have a huge use for is hot and humid. If you're at the pool or at the lake or what have you, hot and humid's okay. But other than that, I really don't enjoy it a heck of a lot. I even enjoy super cold. I mean, I don't want to be walking or doing work out in super cold weather. Super cold weather. Has it been hot in Mississippi? I'm not surprised. It's hot in Mississippi. But I enjoy when I see the weather's going to be below zero or something. That gives me some sick pleasure, I think. But when I hear it's going to be like 90 or 95 degrees, there's no joy or no sick pleasure in that. It's just sick. Are jorts allowed in Naperville? Jorts. What are jorts again? Shorts? Jogging shorts? Hello from Arlington Heights. User, you got to change your name from user, and I don't want to scold you. Oh, jean shorts. Oh, I like jean. Do I like jean shorts? I certainly used to. You know what I like? You know what I like a lot, and I've seen a few women wearing them, and I'm going to get mocked for this probably. I mean, I get mocked for all sorts of things, so it's okay. Bibs, overalls. Holy smokes, overalls are awesome. There's a couple times in my life where I've owned a pair. They're so loose fitting. They have so many pockets. They're just functional as heck. And I'm going to look into getting myself a pair of overalls. Don't call them bibs, or maybe feel free to call them bibs. My first wife and I each had a pair of overalls. That must have been right around 2001, 2002. And they called us Mr. and Mrs. Bibbs. It's kind of cute. Hello, GC Mafia. I appreciated your Seinfeld reference last night on your comment, but I don't even really work here. I fired GC Mafia. For those that are watching, GC Mafia is a guy, I don't even know his real name, but he did a very funny imitation. That's how he and I connected. Very funny imitation of me. And I like to think imitation is the highest form of flattery. And he did a really spot-on imitation of my coffee show and my introduction. And he follows my page, and I follow his. And he comments and says some funny things from time to time. And he said such a funny thing, I offered him a position as my marketing director for Coffee with Ken yesterday. But then he told me he's never had a cup of coffee. So I fired him. So he responded, but I don't even work here. Like Kramer from Seinfeld when, I don't know, I forget what company Kramer was working for. But I think he got an office and he had a briefcase. And I think Jerry was jealous that Kramer wasn't spending time with him anymore. And there's something big swirling. I don't know if it's a big fish swirling in the river or a otter or beaver or something, but I'm seeing a bunch of swirls in the river, and as a fisherman, it intrigues me. Somebody asked if I have hot coffee during the summer as well. Well, I'm certainly drinking a hot cup of coffee right now, and I'm not afraid to drink hot coffee all year, but occasionally if I'm sitting out, and if I'm going to sit out on the patio, maybe at a Starbucks or whatever, I will order an iced coffee, but you know, even in the summer, 9 times out of 10, I'm ordering hot coffee. I don't know what that means. If I get a mocha, I might get an iced venti mocha. Those are pretty nice. Must be a lot of calories in those. There's a woman that I know that does a lot of walking here in Naperville, and she'll she'll be at the Starbucks while we don't plan it. And she orders this, I don't know what it is, but it's some delicious looking drink with all sorts of chocolate and whipped cream and chocolate drizzled all over the top. And it's got to have like 10,000 calories in it. Shannon, thank you so much for joining today. You have a wonderful day as well. And I'm probably going to end this show because I don't know what I'm talking about right now or how much I have to say. But I do want to thank you for joining me on this Tuesday morning. And I do want to thank you for sharing your coffee, sharing a little bit of your morning, sharing a little bit about life, and sharing a little bit about the journey that we're all on. And see you later, Scott Jones. And sharing a little bit of your day with me. It means a lot to me that you join. It means a lot to me that you tune in. It means a lot to me that you follow along in my story. And I want to thank you for following along in my story. I hope you had an awesome night's sleep. I hope you are feeling good. I hope you're excited about your day. I hope you're living in the moment. I hope you have a little joy in your heart and a little optimism in your brain for what lies ahead, because good things are coming. I hope you're loving yourself. I hope you're forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.